Hey, it's your friend Kinsey, and today I wanted to spend some time celebrating my birthday with you. I am the type of person who loves to celebrate their birthday, and I figured why not bring you along that journey with me. So you'll see Kinsey the day of talking with you in a minute, but what we're going to be covering in today's video is, yes, we're going to be doing clean with me and cooking and all of that good jazz, but the big things I'm going to cover is some of the life-changing paradigm shifts that I have really been leaning into and that have been sitting well in my gut, in my kidneys, and what those life-changing paradigm shifts moving into this next season of life are, and how I'm hoping to see that manifest in positive change. If you're into that kind of thing and you want to spend some time with me on my big day, I would love for you to join me along this journey. Let's talk to Kinsey the day of. Today is my birthday.
Hey, I'm Kinsey. I'm a crazy homesteader with a lot of ambitions. I like to talk a lot, and I'm a little goofy, but I'm passionate about intentional living, and I love my family. This is our story at the Flocking Farm.
We've been doing a lot of garden footage lately, and it's good, it's solid, it's homesteady, and it's been a lot. I thought, why not mix it up a little bit? I was working with my sourdough in the kitchen this morning, and I thought, you know what? It's your birthday. Why don't you go get dolled up? Why don't you talk to some of the amazing people out there and bring them along this day, this journey? We have a lot we're doing today, so it's going to be kind of a get ready with me, clean with me, vlog, cook, reset the house. There's a lot that we need to get done in here, and enjoy some time together. I have a temporary tattoo situation I want to talk to you about, so let's get into it. All right, let's talk about this temporary tattoo situation. I am loving this. It reads good to know, and I got this from a Mel Robbins podcast that I was listening to. I will link it in the show notes here. This gal who worked for the CIA, the FBI, and a lot of big organizations as basically a criminologist, a lie detector. She was talking about how to determine if someone is lying or stressed. And not only were her credentials like off the hook, and she was so fun. So much fun to listen to. I have listened to that podcast at least 2 or 3 times now. One of the things that she said changed her life was this idea of good to know, which is what my temporary tattoo reads. And it's basically the idea of the life is full of all sorts of just good to knows. Oh, I'm too much for you? Gosh, if I had a penny for the times I've heard that. Or I'm a lot. I'm great, but I'm a lot. I mean, honestly, I would probably just have like 10 pennies. But still, that's not nothing. And she was talking about when she was doing a show at one point in time, and someone came up to her afterwards and basically was like, I don't get it. I don't get why my friend likes you. I've seen you talk several times, and I don't understand. I gain no value from your presentations. And she just said, good to know. So it's like a very simplistic, concrete way to detach, and I love it. My elk roast that's going, I've never tried this recipe before, so hopefully it turns out. You can see my tortilla mixings have exploded in here. These are sourdough tortillas, never made them before, but we're going to get those a go. And then I have all sorts of sourdough bread sitting here on the counter. This is my first time baking with fresh ground flour. The flour that I ground, the whole wheat, was pretty coarse, and that was the finest that this mill would grind. I borrowed this mill from my mother-in-law. So they didn't rise like they normally do. Plus, it was really cold yesterday, and my dough never does great when it's cold. Okay, I'm going to start by heating these up. You're going to see me working my tortilla dough here. I have a tortilla press. I can't get it thin enough in the tortilla press. So, guys, let me know what I'm doing wrong, because the whole reason I have a press is so that I don't have to roll the whole thing out, and then I had to roll it out anyways. So, once we're done in here, we will also head to the living room and start cleaning. You'll see me a little bit later here try to do like a pizza situation, pulling this dough, trying to stretch it a little bit. I don't know how
to do this properly. So if you have any tips, please leave them in the comment section down below. I would really appreciate it. I'd like to get back to this concept of good to know. I think for me at least, this is life-changing. Like literally, this is helping to shift my entire paradigm. It is so powerful, and here's why. There's another podcast that I listen to fairly frequently from Jocko Willink, the Jocko Willink podcast. He's a retired Navy SEAL, and he often talks about the dynamics of leadership, amongst other important aspects of life. Well, when he's talking about things, he oftentimes says, you got to detach. Detach, you got to detach. And I listen to it and I'm like, I know you're right, but how? I'm invested here. I may be hurt. I may be stressed. I may be anything in all sorts of different situations. How do I actually detach? And this simple little phrase, as dumb as it might seem, gives me a concrete way to actually detach.
All right, I have the last tortilla on the stove here. That one's almost done. Looking pretty good. I'm hoping that they turn out good. Like, what's the difference between a tortilla and a pancake? Hopefully they fold well. I don't know. I've got my Dutch oven preheating and my mini oven so that I can get those sourdough loaves in there. And bonus, I'm going to reuse my parchment paper to cook my sourdough loaves. So
this baby gate was up because I like to bring BB the adventure goose inside. Elisheva loves to hang out with him, but I don't want him pooping on the carpet. So I put this baby gate up so that he stays over on the concrete, which isn't going to work once I pull this table out later, but one step at a time. I may or may not have a custom goose diaper on Etsy order, but also, you will see here, I have bulk food that has been living on my table because we had flooding issues from the rafter ties down into the house. Where they were in the kitchen was getting wet, and I didn't want my bulk storage getting wet. So today, they have been sitting on my table for weeks. We are finally going to move them into some buckets into the mudroom and get them off my table. Hallelujah. Anyways, back to this detachment good to know theory. I think the reason why this is so powerful for me, like I said, it gives me a concrete way in the moment to shift my paradigm. So if I'm too much for somebody, go find less. Or go find different. Like, that's not a narc on other people. I am too much for some people. I am not some people's people. Good to know. That's it. Like, nothing personal. I'm just too loud for you. Good to know. And this goes hand in hand with another theory that I learned on the Mel Robbins podcast. I've just been digging that podcast lately. That was the let them theory. Oh my gosh, this is another one that is just giving me such concrete tools to detach and move on without getting offended or needing to feel like I need to defend myself. It's, if a friend is going to have a party and not invite you, let them. I'm going to dive more into that let them theory in a minute, but I wanted to walk you through what I'm doing here. I heard that hard wheat sourdough doesn't rise quite as well because it doesn't have the all-purpose, so it doesn't get quite as fluffy. But if you saw my first video where I cooked sourdough for the first time and burned my hand with steam, I have since then learned the steam is really that process, which is why we cook with the lid on, is really what allows the sourdough to get a full rise. So this one gal suggested putting ice cubes in and then putting parchment paper down and then the sourdough so that you create more steam to elongate your rise time without getting your sourdough wet since you have that parchment paper in between. Also, this iced coffee is so stinking delicious, and I do have an instructional video on how to make your own vanilla flavoring, which is what I put in mine. You can find that video on my shorts. I like to just do vanilla flavoring with some, usually decaf, because by the time I'm having a flavored coffee, I've broken my fast because I intermittent fast during the day, and so I have a flavored coffee in the afternoon, so I typically like it to be decaf so I'm not up really late. And then I add my vanilla flavoring, homemade vanilla flavoring, and then raw cow's milk. And then a large ice cube. I learned that supposedly large ice cubes melt at a much slower rate than traditional ice cubes do. I think it's called a fusion rate. I'm not entirely sure. The premise is because there's less surface area, it takes longer for the ice cube to actually melt. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I've heard. Back into the let them theory, like I was saying, if you're going to have maybe colleagues that don't invite you to go out with them after work, let them. Like, use it as data, but don't necessarily take it personally. This is allowing me a space to be able to more objectively observe and calculate how to interact with people around me. I tend to be someone that holds on very tightly, and I think that there is a good balance there because you can't hold on too tightly to something that's not yours. Micromanagers like me tend to get that wrong. Like, I want things to go well. I want projects to be run smoothly, and whether that project is a relationship or an actual project like doing something around the house, I worry about micromanaging because I know that that is a predisposition of mine. So there's this balance between holding on too tightly and not putting in any stinking effort at all. And finding yourself in that middle space where it is okay. Either way, it's okay. As long as you are taking responsibility for how you are acting. If someone else is going to act a certain way, let them. Let go. Let them make their own mistakes or triumphs. If they need help, then let them ask. If they don't want information, then let them do it their way. It's just a great way for me to stop not investing. I'm not stopping in investing, but I am stopping in my trait of micromanaging. If someone doesn't want to put in the effort, I am in a stage in my life where I am in the good to knows and the let thems. And both of those have been not paradigm shifting because I understood the methodology, but they are concrete tools to use to be like, it's okay. You can detach. You can just let them. And as a point of clarification, this is not me saying that I am perfect at all. I am full of flaws. This is just a way to allow me to gather more objective data, detach, and allow myself to engage in some self-preservation behavior, which I don't think is bad. I'm basically using it as like an energy boundary tool, and I think it's going to be really helpful.
First loaf of sourdough is a little toasty, but it still looks pretty good. This slider elk pot roast smells incredible. We are gonna go and see our pony.
Yes, I impromptu decided that I did not have enough to do and decided to go and walk my pony, which was absolutely delightful. We got to build some trust and walked almost 2 miles. It was good.
You guys, oh my gosh, this looks look at that. Oh my gosh.
A full day of cleaning and my house to me just felt so pleasant to be in. Otto bought me some flowers for my birthday. All the food turned out scrumptious. It was such a delightful ending to a great day. I had such a delightful birthday. I'm so glad, even though I had all of this stuff going on at the house and everything that I was trying to get done before I entertained in the evening, I'm so glad that I decided impromptu to go spend some time with my pony. That was delightful. It just made my heart so happy. You know what else makes my heart happy? The fact that you spent some time with me here today and got to celebrate my birthday with me. That means so much to me. You could have been anywhere and you chose to spend some time with us. I really appreciate it.
I have BB the Adventure Goose. You might hear him in the background. He's hanging out with us in here. I would love to know, what is one of your more recent aha paradigm, maybe not even paradigm shifting, but something that you're like, that sits right in my kidneys. Like, that sounds correct. For me, it's the good to know and the let them theory. Those have really been something that I have felt called just to lean into. Leave me a comment down below. What is something in the past year or in recent years that you feel like, yes, I need to lean into that? I would love to hear that in the comment section down below. Because I kid you not, this good to know and let them theory honestly feels like it's life-changing to me. While I still have you here, would you be terribly opposed to hitting that subscribe button? I would love to spend more time with you. Any feedback that you have, again, leave that in the comment section down below. I look forward to talking to you again next week. Don't forget to check out one of my other videos here. And until next time, as always, don't be afraid to live out loud, and we will catch you on that flippity flop.